Hello, my beautiful subscribers. Today I'm gonna teach you how to make this beautiful bag, as you can see. So, yeah. So to start, you're gonna need this is 50 millimeter fish line, and then I have my nail cutter, and I'm going to use size 8 beads. You can use any color, and to start, you can just cut your fish line, and then you start by putting 4 beads in your fish line. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then cross at on the last bead. And then from there, just put 1 bead from one side and 2 beads on the other side, and then cross on the second bead on the line where you put your 2 beads. And then you're gonna continue doing the same process. 1 bead on one side, 1 bead on the other side, and then you cross. You put another bead and then you cross on that 1 bead, the last one. Gonna continue doing this process, and this process normally gonna help you to create the I'm gonna call it like a line, which gonna help you to really gonna be easy for you to make the whole bag. One bead on one side and then 2 beads on the other side, or 1 bead on one side and then 1 bead on the other side, and then you put 1 bead on either side, but you cross on that bead. 2 beads and then you cross on that one. 1 bead and then one on the other side, and then the second one, and then you cross. So make sure that your fish line is very tight, because normally if your fish line won't be tight, the bag is going to be very loose. So make sure you pull your fish line very tight. So the beads that I'm using today, they're a little bit strong, so me pulling the fish line, it can even cut my hand. So I'm going to use this tape. I'm gonna put it around my fingers so the fish line won't really cut my fingers, and it's gonna be easy for me to also pull the fish line the way I want it. So I just put my tape on only on my small fingers, the last one, and then I'm gonna continue with the same process, putting 1 bead on one side and then 2 beads on the other side, and then I cross on the last bead or the second bead. So here, for my bag, I have created um, 13 rounds, and for me to be able to turn, I'm going to put 3 beads. I'm going to put 3 beads on one line, and then I cross on the last one, and then I'm going to continue by adding 3 beads, and then I cross on the last one as well. And then from there, I'm going to pass on the bead on my right, and then on the fish line on my left, or on my left hand, I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last bead. So normally here I'm just gonna pass on the bead on my right, and then my left hand I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last one. just make sure you pull your fish line very tight every time, so your bar can be strong, it won't be loose. I'm gonna continue doing the same process, because for now I'm just only creating the base of the bag. So I'm gonna put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last one. I pass on the bead on my right hand, and then my left I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last one. So I'm going to continue with the same process. So normally the beginning of making this bag, you're gonna start by using 3 beads, but as we continue you're only gonna be putting 2 beads at a time until we finish making the bag. So for now we're gonna keep putting 2 beads. Yes. And then you cross on the last one. You pass on your right bead, and then on your left you put 2 beads, and then you cross on the last one. So I've created 2 lines from here, but I want to turn, so I'm going to cross on this bead right here, and I'm gonna start by putting 3 beads for me to be able to turn and creating the third line, and then I cross on the last bead. I'm gonna pass on my right bead, and then on my left I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I crossed on the last bead. So we continue with the same process. You cross on the last bead, you pass on your right bead, and then on your left you put 2 beads, and you cross on the last one. Two beads, and then you cross on the last one. And then you cross. And then you cross. So I'm going to turn and start creating my fourth line. And to start creating my fourth line, I have to put 3 beads, and then I cross on the last one, and I'm gonna continue passing on my right bead, and then I put 2 beads on my left. So here I'm going to close, and I have to make sure that I pull my fish line very tight, and that is when I use my nail cutter to cut my fish line, and then I band the remaining. So for me, using nail cutter to cut, especially fish line, for me I feel like it's easy. That's why I'm using nail cutter most of the time when you see me making my bags. I'm going to keep doing the same process. I mean, passing through one bead on my right and putting two beads on my left, and then I cross on the last bead. So this is a process of making the lines um, on my bag. So it's the same process, nothing really changed. So I'm gonna continue doing the same process. I'm going to start creating my fifth line right now, and it's still the same process that I'm going to use. To start creating the fifth line, you're gonna start by putting three beads, and then you continue by putting two beads. So as you can see, I've created 6 lines to 12 lines. So I'm going to add one more because now I'm starting to create the walls of the bag. So I'm gonna continue putting two beads, and then I cross on the last one. Two, and then you cross on the last one. Gonna put two, and then I cross on the last one. So I think I was not really creating the wall, but I was making my bag a bit longer because I think I created only 12 line, so I think maybe it was small, so I decided to add more lines. So now I'm going to add one more. So I'm gonna have like 15 rounds to 6 rounds. I think 12 rounds. My bag was a bit smaller, so now I'm going to add more, but this is a smaller size. The size I'm making here is a smaller one. So if you are making it for clients, you can make it a bigger one, maybe by putting, instead of 15 lines, maybe you can put 22, even 25 lines for your bag, and you can put 22 or 25, and the other side you can just put, maybe instead of 6 you can put 8. So I think now I'm starting to create my walls. I think, yes, put in 3 beads, and then you put 2 beads, and then you continue. So I had to, so I'm also going to add another line on the other side. I think the measurements which I was using was a little bit small. I think at some point I decided to add more lines on my back. So I've created, I'm going to fold one line I've created, as you can see. So the base is going to have 6 lines, but I've created 7 because this, the last the last line is going to help me to create the walls of my bag. So I'm going to, I've put it only 2 beads. I pass through 2 beads, and then I put 2 beads on the other side, and I cross on the last one. So I'm gonna just keep doing the same process. Like, you just pass on the bead on your right, and then you put 2 beads on your left hand, and then you cross on the last one. So it's still the same process. Gonna keep doing the same process. I put 2 beads on my left and then I cross on the last one, passing on the bead on my right, and then 2 beads on my left, and then I cross on the last one. Doing the same process, and then you cross on the last one. So from here you can see we are on the corner, so you just pass on that bead, and then after passing you put 2 beads on the other side, you cross on the last one, 1 2, and then you cross on the last one. And then we're gonna continue with the same process. You pass on the bead that follow, and then you put 2 beads on the other side, which it's my left hand, and then you cross on the last bead. Now I'm gonna pass through this bead. You're going to pass through all these beads that follow. So now you're gonna pass through the third bead, only 1 bead, and then your left hand you put on your left hand you put 2 beads, and then you cross on the last one. You're gonna continue doing the same process until you finish this line right here. You just keep passing through the bead on your right, 1 bead on your right. Your left hand you put 2 beads, and then you cross on the last bead or the second bead. You're gonna keep doing the same process over and over until we finish this line. As you can see how I'm doing it, just make sure you pull your fish line very tight. I'm about to finish this line. Now I'm working on the last round, and I'm gonna put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last bead, then I cross, and then from here you can see my walls have came perfectly. So now I'm going to pass through the bead that follow on my right, and then from there I'm going to put 2 beads, and just putting 2 beads automatic, the wall will just fall like just it's gonna create itself. um, and then I'm gonna pass on the bead on my right, and then on my left I just put two beads, and then I cross on the last bead. I have already created that wall. That wall I have already stand, so I'm just gonna cover this one. I'm just finishing creating the wall, which is going to help me to make the wall for the whole bag. And it's also needs the same process. You just pass on the bead, one bead on your right, and your left hand you put two beads, and then you cross on the last one. But I'm gonna show you this one thing so you won't confuse yourself, because it's going to need only one bead. So here I'm left with two beads. I'm going to pass through all of them, and from there I'm going to put one bead. I'm gonna explain to you why I put it only one bead. um, this bag, this whole process of creating these bags, even when we started by putting four beads. So our bag is created by making four beads to make a round. So there we had three beads, so I only put at one to complete the round of four beads. So to start a new line, after I have created my walls, I'm going to put three beads, and then I cross on the last one. And from there I'm going to pass on the bead on my right, and then I put two beads on my left hand, and then I cross on the last bead. So from here, the only thing with that we're going to keep doing is just that we're gonna, when we want to start a new round, we're gonna start by putting three beads, and you cross on the last one. And from there you're going to continue by passing through one bead on your right, and your left hand you put two beads, and you cross on the last bead. And then to finish up, you will pass through your right hand will pass through two beads, and your left hand will just put only one bead, and you're gonna cross on that one bead. And crossing that is when you'll be able to make a four round bead. And from there you're going to start another line, and from starting another line you're going to start again with three beads, you continue with two beads, and then you cross with one bead. So the process is the same. So I have cutted my fish line because it was ending, and now I'm going to show you how you can put another fish line so you can continue making your bag. And this process applies to every bag. Yes, so I'm going to cut my fish line, and you can start in any ending, either this one or the one that I ended. So I'm going to pass through two beads, and after that on my left I'm going to put two beads, and then I'm going to cross on the last one. So from here I'm going to continue with the same process of passing on the one bead on my right, and my left hand I'm going to put two beads, and I cross on the last bead. So we do the same process over and over and over. Yeah. So now I'm going to pass through this whole line. So we're gonna keep doing the same process. You pass one bead on your right, your left hand you put two beads, and then you cross on the last bead. I just hope you understood the whole process. That is what I pray for. to go back to my ex-boyfriend. I'll be able to go back. Yeah, I have started another round. I thought I'll be able to show you how you can just put one bead, but I think I've forgotten to do that while I was recording the whole video. But I believe you do understood when I was creating the first line. I did show you how you just put one bead and then you cross through that one bead and you start another line by starting to put three beads. So I hope you still remember how to do that. If you don't, just put a comment on this video and then I will show you again. I'll create another video for you so that you can see. So we just keep doing the same process, nothing much, nothing new. Yeah, to start, maybe to remind you, to start a new line, you start by putting three beads. To continue with your back, you're gonna, after putting three beads, you cross on the last one. After crossing, you pass on one bead on your right hand, and then you on your left hand you put two beads and you cross on the last bead, and then you continue the same process until you you only remain with one round to finish, whereby in that one round you're going to pass through two beads and then you're going to put one bead on your left hand and then you cross on that one bead, because your right hand is the one that is going to pass through two beads. Let me remind you again. To start a new round, a new line, to start a new line, you're going to start by putting three beads and you cross on the last bead. That is when you'll be able to create four round with four beads, to create a round with four beads. And then from there, you're going to continue by passing through one bead on your right hand, and then your left hand you're only going to put two beads and you cross on the last bead. You're going to continue doing the same process until you remain with only one round to finish. When you remain with only one round to finish, you'll just your right hand or your right fish line have to pass through two beads, in which that it's gonna be easy for you to see as you continue making the back. So you're going to pass through two beads, because it's gonna to it's like, I don't know how I can explain it clearly since I've not really show you, our process through this video. So you're going to pass through 2 beads, and then your left hand is going to put only 1 bead, and then you're going to cross on that 1 bead. I hope you have understood me. If not, please put a comment below, and I will gladly show you again the whole process. So I have created 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, how many? 6 lines. I've created 6 lines. So from there I'm going to find my angle, which is between these 2 beads right here. So from here I'm going to pass through these 2 beads. One, two, and then from there I'm going to put 1, 2, 3. I'm going to put 3 beads, and then I cross on the last one. As you can see, I've only put it 3 beads. So now I have a round of 1, 2, or 5 beads instead of 4. I have a round of 5 beads, and then from there I'm going to keep putting 2 beads and cross on the last one. After my right hand, I've passed through 1 bead. I'm going to pass through 1 bead on my right, and then my left hand I put 2 beads, and then I cross on the right on the last bead. 2 beads, and then you cross. Now you put 2 beads, and then you cross. So here I'm also going to do the same process. So every angle I'm going to put 3 beads. So here I'm only remaining with one line, so I'm going to pass through on this angle. I'm going to pass through 2 beads instead of 1, 1, 2. So I'm going to pass through 2 beads on the angle of my back, and then this one, and then from there I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last one. And after that I'm going to continue making my bag the same way by passing through 1 bead on my right, this 1 bead, and then my left I'm going to put 2 beads, and then I cross on the last one. So on every this angle I'm going to do the same thing as I did in these 2 angles. So now I'm going to continue doing the same process until I reach those 2 angles, and then I cross on the last bead. Two, and then you cross. And then you cross. So I've reached another corner, and I'm going to pass through 2 beads, and don't really look on what I'm going to do on the video because I've made mistake there. Only put 2 beads because the line which I was creating gave me 1 bead, and also I passed it through 2 beads, so that means I had 3 beads. So I was only supposed to put 2 beads on my left hand and cross on the last bead and not put in 3 beads. And then you're going to continue the same process of passing through 1 bead on your right hand, and you put 2 beads on your left hand, and you cross on the last bead. So you just keep doing the same process, but remember, on the angles you're gonna continue putting 2 beads and not 3. I have made some mistakes, and also I'm going to make the same mistake on this angle that follow right here, because later on, when I was working on another line, the line that follow after creating these rounds on the corner, that is when I came to realize I made some mistakes. So for you not to do the same thing as I did, because I had to destroy the bag, that line, and create another one. So just put 2 beads, just continue putting 2 beads, but when you start working on the first round, only put 3 beads, but as you continue, you will continue putting 2 beads throughout the making of this line. So from here, you're just going to pass through these 2 beads, 1, 2, and then you put 1 bead, and then you cross through that 1 bead. And this is what I was really trying to explain to you when you're trying to finish and you put just 1 bead. So that is what I was really trying to explain to you guys. So here you're going to just continue with the same routine. You just start by putting 3 beads, and then you continue by putting 2 beads, and you're gonna finish by putting only 1 bead. So here you're going to continue with the same process until you have reached the length that you want for your bag to be. Here is when I realized I made some mistake. You can see this round is made of 5 beads, 5, and then next and this one they're made with 6 beads. As you can see, they're a little bit bigger, 6 beads. So instead of 5, I made with 6 beads. So I had to destroy this line and make some corrections. So make sure you put only 5 beads, and you won't destroy your line and start making it again. So I've made corrections. As you can see now, it's only count 5 on each corner. So yeah, let's continue making our bag. So remember, now we are just going to keep doing the same process. Nothing new that we're gonna start doing on this pack. So you're just gonna walk by passing through one bead on your right, and then on your left hand you put 2 beads, and then you cross on the last one, and you do that only you keep doing that until you finish your bag. And finishing is just that you're going to create the lines that you want for your bag to be. Maybe if you want it bigger, you can make more lines. If you want it a bit smaller, you can just make it's just like the way you see your bag. That is when you're gonna determine how big you want your bag, because there is no really um I don't know how I can say it, but for me, if you want like a bigger bag, you create a lot of a lot of lines. You can even make maybe 20, 25 lines, and then for a smaller one, you can make maybe 12 round, 15. Yes. So I'm going to start making my handle. So I'm going to leave 3 lines, and then that is when I'm going to start making my handle. I've left like 3 lines or 3 rounds, and I have to leave like three lines on both sides. I started by putting 3 beads, and then I cross on the last one. I pass on the bead on my right, as you can see, and then I'm going to put 2 beads on my left, and then I cross on the last one. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. Two beads, and then I cross on the last one. Two beads, and then I cross on the last one. You have to remember that on the other side, I also have to leave 3 rounds or 3 lines. So yes, so this is gonna be my last, I think, my last round to make. Yes, so I'm going to create another line from here by starting to put 3 beads, and then I cross on the last one. And then I'm gonna continue by passing on the bead on my right, and then I put 2 beads as normal. So I did not really add another line on the whole bag. I just put only because now I'm only working on the handle. Gonna keep doing the same thing. So I've created 4 lines so far. I'm still, though here I'm still working on my, actually it's my 4th, is it right? Yes, my 4th line. So from here, you see 4 lines, and then I'm trying to kind of fold them, but I'm only going to fold the first, and this first, I'm not going to lay on this. I'm going to like connect on this line right here. I'm gonna show you. So I've created 4 lines, as you can see. I'm going to fold this, the first line. I'm going to fold the second one as well. So from here, I'm going to cover this space here. I'm going to show you. So this space, and I'm going to use a bead that follow, not this one, the one I'm touching, no, the bead that follow, that line. That is the line I'm going to use to kind of like cover this line which is empty, and I'm only gonna be putting like 1 bead. So I'm gonna put 1 bead, and then I'm going to pass so through this second bead, not the first, the second one. So the second line, that is when I'll be passing. I'm gonna put 1 bead, and then I'm going to put another bead, and then I cross through that bead, and then from there I'm going to pass through 1 bead on my right and 1 bead on my left. I'm gonna show you. left, on my right. It's actually it's a bead that follow, and then here I'm going to on my left I've passed the bead on my left, as you can see, and then after that I'm going to put one bead and then I cross through that one bead. I'm going to keep doing the same process, passing through one bead on my right and then one bead on my left, and then I put one bead and then I cross through that one bead. I'm gonna keep doing the same process over and over and over until I finish covering that empty space. You cross. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. You cross. My left and then one bead and then you cross. Gonna keep doing the same thing. One bead and then you cross. So you can see how after I finished to cover the part which was open, I'm going to add more rounds since I'm working on the handle of the bag by adding uh, one bead on one side and two beads on the other side, whereby the other side I close by the last bead. I'm gonna keep adding more rounds by just putting one bead on one side, two beads on the other side, and then I cross on the last bead. So I have made the length I want for my handle. So I'm going to continue um, to create the box which I've created, because here what I created before was like a box. So I'm also going to create a box on this line which I have the lines I have created. So I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. I'm going to pass through this bit that follow right here. This one. And then I add two beads on the other side, and then I cross on the last bead. Here I'm going to pass through these two beads, this one and this one in the corner right here, and I'm going to add only one bead, which I'm going to cross through that one bead. And then from here I'm going to pass through this bead that follow right here, and then I'm going to add two beads on my left, and then I cross on the last bead. You won't be able to see, but I did pass through the bead that follow, and then I add two beads. It's like the same process I did on the first round. So I'm going to turn it, and now I'm going to add only one bead. This one bead and this one in the corner. I cross through that one bead. So I had to put something inside my bag, so the bag can be a little bit heavy and it's gonna be easy for me to work on the handle. So after passing on that one bead, I just put two beads and then I cross on the last one. I'm gonna pass through this one bead right here on my right, and then I'm gonna put two beads on my left, and then I cross on the last bead. And then here I'm going to fold it, and I'm going to pass through two beads, this one and the other one in the corner, this one, and then I'm going to add only one bead, and I cross through that one bead. I'm going to pass through this bead right here. I'm going to add two beads. I cross on the last one. I'm going to pass through that bead that follow on my right. I'm going to add two beads on my left hand. I cross on the last bead. I'm going to pass through two beads, this one and the one in the corner, and then I'm going to add one bead and cross through that one bead. So I'm gonna keep doing the same process until I finish covering these lines I created, the long line. 2 beads, cross as the last bead, pass on the bead on my right, add 2 more beads, cross through the last one, just trying to see if my handle is coming the way I want. 2 beads, cross through the last one, passing through 2 beads now, this one, the one in the corner, and 1 bead which I cross through that 1 bead. I keep doing the same process. So I have the length of my handle the way I want. So I'm going to try to fold it to see if it's on an appropriate measure and its ease. So I'm going to connect the end of my handle and I'm going to add one bead and it's a bit challenging to connect it. So I'm going to pass through one bead as well on the other end. I'm going to put one bead and then I'm going to cross. I'm going to pass through I'm going to add one bead and then I'm going to pass. I think I will show you the easiest way to make the handle because I think this was the hardest way to make the handle. So yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing to cut my remaining fish line and burn it. I'm trying to count how many rounds I have made on my handle so that I can make another handle, but this time I'm trying to use the easiest way to make the handle, not the way I did make this one, because this one it's gonna be a little bit hard for you to understand. So I'm gonna start by adding 3 rounds on my fish line, actually 4, not 3, and then I cross on the last bead on either side, on any last bead. Then from there I'm going to add one bead on one side and 2 beads on the other side, and then I cross on the last bead. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. One bead on one side, two beads on the other side, and then I cross on the last bead. Two beads, and then I cross on the last bead. So it's very important to remember. So if on the other side of if my handle I've created like 20, let's say I've created 20 rounds. Here on this other one, I'm going to create only 18 rounds because I'm going to create 19. I'm going to create 19 rounds, and then one round I'm going to connect the end of my handle, so it's gonna be 20 rounds. So if I created 20 rounds on my handle, uh, while creating the other handle I'm going to create 19 rounds, and then the last round to make it 20 rounds I'm going to connect the end uh, by creating that one round. You're gonna see. So I hope you do remember this process here. It's the same as how we started making the bag. So here I'm going to create 3 lines. I'm still on my second line. So after I created 3 lines, I folded my I folded them, two of them, so it's kind of look like I only have to cover one side. I'm gonna show you through this one. I've lost the original video, so I'm going to put one bead and then I'm going to pass through the bead on the other side, and then I'm going to add one more bead and then I cross through that one bead. From there I'm going to pass through one bead here, like I'm going to pass through one bead on my right and one bead on my left, and then from there I'm going to add one bead and then I cross through that one bead. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing until like I finish covering this empty space, this empty line. One bead and then I cross through that one. I pass through my right bead, one right bead, and then pass through one left bead, and then I put one bead and then I cross through that one bead. So it's really the same process until I finish covering this whole empty space. I'm going to try to connect the end. So here, there is where I'm going to go to make the 20th round. I'm gonna show you how. So it's have to look like this. I have to connect it and it have to look like this. I'm gonna take my fish line. I'm going to add one bead. I'm pulling the other side very close. I'm going to pass through one bead on the other side, and then I'm going to add one bead and then I cross through that one bead. Here you have to pull your fish line very tight, because if not it may open up. So I'm going to pass through one bead on my right hand, and then one bead on my left, then I'm going to add one bead and cross through that one bead, and I'm going to pass through one bead on my right and one bead on my left. And then I'm going to add one more bead, and I cross through that one bead. And from here I won't be adding any bead, but I'm going to pass through 3 beads. I'm going to pass through this one, this these 3 beads, pass through this one and this one, and from there I'm going to close it, and I have to make it very tight, but you have to pull your fish line first and then make sure you close it very tight. And my handle is ready, as you can see. I'm going to connect it now with my bag. So my handle is ready, as you can see, and now I have to make one. I have created, I'm going to like first measure and see if they're on the same length. So now I'm going to create one line here as I did on the other side, and then after that, that is when I get to connect. No, actually I'm going to connect it right away. I'm going to add one bead, and then I pass through any bead on my left hand, and then I'm going to add one bead where I'm going to cross through that one. So you have to be very careful. Where you started have to be the same as where you started on the other side. I pull my fish line very strong, and then I'm going to pass through one bead on my right and one bead on my left, and then I'm going to add one bead and cross through that one bead. Putting something inside my bag so it can be heavy and it can stand. I cross through that one bead. You pass through one bead on your right and one bead on my left. I had one bead, and then I cross through that. So I'm going to do the same process until I finish. So you can see now the bag is finished. I just only have to add the babies outside my bag. I'm gonna put three, two on one side and one on one side, and then I cross on the last one. I'm gonna do the same again, two on one side, one on the other side, cross on the last one. One on one side, two, and then I pass through. You cannot really see here, but I believe you'll be able to see on the other round which I'm creating. So making these babies, you have to do calculation, you have to count the rounds on your back, and you have to point out where you can put the babies. So here I'm going to add one bead on one side and two beads on the other side. So I'm only going to work on one round to make the babies. From there I'm going to add one, two beads, and then cross on the last one. And then I'm going to add one bead, and then I'm going to cross through only one bead to pass through, only one bead right there. And then after passing, I'm going to add one bead on the other side, and then I close this baby. I'm gonna keep doing the same thing. One bead on one side, two beads on the other side, you cross on the last bead. You put one bead again on one side, two beads on the other side, and then you cross on the last bead. Now you add one bead, and then you pass through one big bead on your back, and then you add one bead on the other side, and then you cross. You're going to keep doing the same process. Our bag is complete, as you can see. You can also add the babies at the sides. My beads ended. The one I had was not really enough to make the babies at the sides. That's why I did not put any babies on the side. So yeah, so our bag is finished, as you can see. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed and you have learned a lot from this video. Please don't forget to leave your comments, like, and subscribe. And on any parts which you've not understood, please don't forget to share your comments, and I will respond. I'll get back to you on it.